They are not credible media because those who have offices in Nigeria, international media agencies that have office source stories. So, you know, for those of us who are living in this country, we know that there is no religious genocide going on. This is sheer criminality. Yes, when Boko Haram started in 2009, they were attacking Christians and churches, but it didn't last up to 6 months before they descended on everybody. And since then, there have been no look back. Even this last week in Zamfara, worshippers who went for morning prayers were more than in cold blood, and many of them abducted. Yes, we have problem with insecurity, but it's not a religious genocide. I mean, anybody monitoring news in Nigeria will know that this has nothing to do with religion. The attempt to criminalize, to label the killings in Benue and Plateau as a religious genocide is a futile attempt. It's just because in those two states we have predominant Christians. It wasn't because they were. The issues is economic. The issue from elders farmers clashes, or you look at it from the angle of wanting to land grabbing for purpose of exploring mineral resources in those lands. It has nothing to do with the fate of those who are there. It's like when there is an attack in Imo or in any of the Southeast, South states. You know, in Southeast and South states, they are predominantly Christian. You have almost 95% Christian populations. So you may tend to want to say in those states, because those who are involved are majorly Christians. But if you look at it, flip the coin and talk about any attack in Sokoto, down the entire south, northwest and northeast. If any attack, if you are going to kill, if any bandits or insurgents will kill 10 people in Zamfara, in Sokoto, in Kebbi, in Jigawa, in Kano, in Kaduna, except in Borno. Do you even know that Borno has a very huge Christian population in Borno South?
Yes.
And then Gombe South.
True.
And then in Taraba. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely true.
So, this for those of us who follow news, we know that the issue is not religious genocide. It is purely banditry, criminality, and economic attack. Just to, because even when you look at Zamfara, what is bringing all of this about? About land grab for mineral exploration.
That's true.
You understand? There is a lot of gold in Zamfara, a lot of lead, a lot of other solid mineral. And some of these bandits want to have control of those communities where this, so they want to kill and maim everybody so that they scatter, they take flight, and then they allow them to do their illegal mining. I mean, we have it on record that I think it was Senator Adams Oshiomhole that talked about it. That in northern Nigeria, helicopters will fly and carry solid mineral out of this country without any checkmating from the authorities. But that they are descending on the southern Niger Delta militants, but they are not handling the northern militants, northern criminals the way they are. But any attempt to now paint this as a religious genocide is a very characterization of the issue at hand.
Jide, would you believe, as some people have said, that the authors of this report may just be singing to the tunes of some politicians in the country who may want to use this to discredit the current government?
It's not impossible. Politics is war by some other means. And in Nigeria, ahead of every election, we always have this heated. I was researching for my column in the Punch just yesterday, and I stumbled on a report by National Human Rights Commission that said that in the first half of 2025, there are more violent deaths arising from banditry than in the entire 2024. This was a July 8th report by Reuters, quoting the National Human Rights Commission. It's available online. That there are more deaths, over 2,000 plus, in the first 6 months of 2025 than in the entire 2024. So why is the scale up? You may read political meanings to it. Those who want to make, and as we get close to election, the situation may get worse because the very powerful politicians in the opposition wants to discredit. That's the same way we learned that the opposition discredited Goodluck Jonathan in 2024 ahead of 2025. 2014
ahead of
2015 elections. Because there are those who believe that the abduction of Chibok girls was politically motivated. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And so I can't put anything beyond our political class. They are very desperate lot, and they may actually be orchestrating some of these things. But aside from that, Larry, there was something I also picked up online, credited to former EFCC chairman Ibrahim Magu. That was about 2016 or thereabouts, during the induction of governors. That they have it on good authority that some governors orchestrate crisis in their state in order to justify increase in their security votes. So if orchestrates one or two clashes, people will die, and they will say, there is insecurity. So they will now use that as a basis for security votes. And I was shocked that intelligence revealed that, and the source was credited to Ibrahim Magu, former EFCC chairman. Then he was the chairman of the EFCC. And I said it's not impossible, and which is why I'm telling you this morning that with the level of our political class, the level at which they go to win election at all cost, even if there was peace anywhere, they want to destroy so that they will make sure that people will lose faith in that government of the day and be running to them as alternate platform. So even though one may not be able to substantiate that claim, because it's like if a politician wants to assassinate somebody now, he will not do it by himself. Most assassins, even if it's not political assassination, even business assassin, if you want to be, if somebody wants to eliminate his business partner, he will not most likely do it by himself. He will arrange a third party so that the whole thing cannot be traced back to him. So the same thing, our political class, the juggernauts who have the wherewithal to mastermind this kind of thing, will also just put down the money and leave it. It will be like a consultancy business, that they will just provide the logistics and say, I want to hear stories in the media that this is happening. But you will not be able to trace the incident back to them, except when God wants to really catch them. So the issue is that nothing is off the table, because I really do not see why, with the best effort of our Nigerian military, these people 100 to more, and it will be like the more you kill them, the more you arrest them, the more they just mass produce. So it tells you that it's not just about poverty that you are not, it's about poverty. I'm also heavily indebted as I'm talking with you. I'm not finding it easy paying my bills. Why have I now taken to crime? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So the fact that somebody is poor is not enough justification to take to crime. But when you now have people, and we have had stories in time past how politicians will provide logistics for thugs and minions to cause mayhem ahead of election, all because they want to have the upper hand. And then when the elections are over, they cannot retrieve these ammunitions and that's the story that is out there, particularly about the genesis of the Niger Delta militancy. That some aspirants and candidates actually provided some of the small arms and light weapons to their political talks. And that after the election, they couldn't retrieve this, and those boys were using the weapons to now kidnap for ransom and doing all of those. So that nothing is impossible with the level of desperation that Nigeria political the decades.
All right. Well, if you are just joining us, it's Insights on Citizen 93.7 FM, and we are looking at a lot of stories now. The one we just concluded now has been that the federal government says the claims of religious genocide in Nigeria are false and divisive. You can join the conversation by joining our live stream on YouTube, type in Insight, and you'll be part of it. And you can also listen to us online on www.citizenfm.ng. Our phone lines are open. You can call us on 0903 2219797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205. My guest is Jide Ojo, for commentator. Jide, I'm sure that you will not be surprised about the dimension the Dangote Pengasson controversy is taking now. Right from last week, you remember that there was a face-off, I think 2 weeks ago, which was temporarily resolved, but today, the federal government says it is intervening because it looks as if this might spiral into something very big for the nation.
Yeah, it's getting messier by the day. The two warring factions should allow reason to prevail. I've listened to the side of Pengasson. Basically, what their president is saying is, rising from the intervention in recent past, the Dangote workforce, the workers were given the option of joining union or not to join, and about 800 or plus of them opted to join the union. And the last week, Monday, Pengasson said they wrote the manager of Dangote that these people whose name is on this list have decided to join the union, and that they will expect their check-off dues to be remitted to Pengasson. And what I learned was that the manager of Dangote now went to each of those staff in their separate units to confirm their to consent to join the union or not. And they did that between Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay.
Last week. And that after confirming that these 800 plus of them actually opted to join the union, by Thursday, they were all issued sack letter. Do you get the genesis?
Yes, I understand.
Pengasson wrote to Dangote, these people whose name appear on this list have opted to join our union. Please pay their check-off dues to this bank. Dangote managed farm and saw that truly 800 plus of them opted. And by Thursday, when they were done with the confirmation, they now sacked these people, which obviously means that they were witch-hunted on the basis that, not because they were nationally, but because they opted to join the union. And that's what Pegasus wants reversed. Dangote is claiming that it's as a result of reorganization. But whatever the organization, if you are going to sack somebody, this is not just a corner shop where you hire and fire. There are laid down rules. If a staff is found culpable of having committed a crime, I'm saying in my part of the world that the witch cried this night
and the child died tomorrow.
And who doesn't know that? Kill the child. Because if that verification and then sack did not happen, assuming that you just want to say redundancy, or that they committed a crime, or maybe they were late in coming to work, or they were, if there were other allegations against them, it would have made sense. But to just wither off those who opted to join the union under the guise of reorganization, marks of victimization. And this morning I listened to another former Pegasus president, Brand Ogbefu, who said that even in Dangote Cement in Obajana, that some staff of food and beverage department decided to join the union. Just the same way it has happened with Dangote Refinery, that they decided to join the union. And after they were verified to have actually committed to joining the food and beverage union, they were sacked. So for me, it's becoming a trend. And we must understand that Dangote is not a Korean, Indian, Lebanese companies that are known to breach labor laws in Nigeria. He's a Nigerian and he should respect Nigerian labor laws. Yes, it's within his prerogative to sack any staff that he feels has committed it, but there are terms and conditions of engagement. You cannot. This is a multi-billionaire complex. Yes, it's a one-man business, so to speak. But it's a multi-million. It's not a corner shop. It's not like you have a bookstore or you are running a small mama put, where you can say, okay, from tomorrow I don't want to see you again. The way you are looking at my customer. There are terms and conditions for that, guys. There is a labor law, and Nigeria is a signatory to International Labour Organization, ILO Convention. You understand? So, for instance, I know for these Indians, Lebanese, Korean companies, many of them are in breach of Nigerian labor laws. But I had a friend who was working with one of them. Do you know that he works 12 hours shift? 12 hours. So they run 2 shifts in that factory. And that factory is in Lagos. I don't want to mention it. 12 hours. My guy is an engineer. He will work for 12 hours and then rest for 12 hours. And they pay them peanuts. And at the end of the day, what does the international labor law say? You have to work for 8 hours, 5 days a week. Anything above 8 hours, 5 days a week is overtime, and you are supposed to be compensated for it. Oh, you see all these Korean, Lebanese, Indian, some of them, not all of them anyway. You find out that they don't even allow unionism. They don't allow their staff to be to be under any union, and they are fond of casualization. They will not give you a letter of employment that will make you to even be any fringe benefits, like housing allowance, feeding, transport, health benefits, or even gratuity and pension. So this has been known, and the Minister of Labour needs to look into some of this. I once did an article after researching where I found out that a significant proportion of Nigerian labor, private employers in Nigeria are, preferred casualization to regular employment. And you find that now mostly in financial sector, where, financial, you will be surprised that 3/4 of those staff you see in banks today are actually casual staff. They are casual staff. They do not offer them any meaningful employment package. Like, you are recruited by an agency, and it is the agency that they pay your salary to. The telecommunication companies also do it, and where they will just ask an agency to recruit 500 staff for them. So the money the company will pay to the recruitment agency who pays the staff. So you would think that they are the staff of those telecom, but they are not direct staff. The same thing with banks. So this is how Nigerians are being exploited. And I think Dangote should be of exemplary conduct, except there are other reasons, valid reasons, why these 800 plus staff were sacked, beyond the fact that they chose to identify with Pengassan, that they want to join Pengassan. Then I think that the government should not allow this to happen, because this will set a bad precedent. This is not the only oil company in Nigeria. From what I learned, gas companies operating in Nigeria, none of them have these issues. Why is it that Dangote is setting bad precedent?
Okay, Judy, let's for a while pull back and ask a certain question. One is that some people are asking, could Dangote refinery be a little bit skeptical about not being the way Pengassan and Nupeng, their issue, their history of strike and everything? Maybe the company is trying to, from day one, protect its investment.
Well, that is within its prerogative to do, but we must not forget that while the unions may have their own excesses, we must not also discountenance or discounted their contributions to deepening of the likes of Michael Umodu fought the independence of Nigeria. We remember Franco Kori. During you and I were students of the University of Lagos. We know the role of Nigerian labor unions, like particularly it was then NLC, there was no PUC. The road plate from that their Yaba office close to our campus, how they mobilized us, to fight for the denullification of
June 12th.
The annulment of June 12th presidential election. Even though Abacha government clamped down on them and incarcerated some of their leaders. But is it not last year that the president decided to honor Kokori and give him posthumous award, and they are now regarded as patrons of democracy? So the point is that while they have their own excesses, and I'm not discounting the fact that they may have their own, we must not demonize these unions, because, but for the unions, the civil society is already weakened by, these old distractions. There is no funding for projects, and the activism is dying gradually. So the only people who have activism today are the labor unions, and we need them to checkmate the government excesses. But for the likes of NNA and NERD, the Nigerian medical situation will have been worse than what it is today. I did an article in March in my column when the FCT the resident doctors went on strike, and they listed some of the significant issues that they went on strike for, including the fact that there are no facilities in our hospitals. There are compensations, so that all their due emoluments are not being paid to them. They are overworked. We just learned of a doctor that slumped after working 3 days non-stop in Port Harcourt. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? So the point is that we need the unions. I'm just extrapolating beyond the Dangote Pengassan. We need the unions for at least for the activism in the fight against the common government oppression and all of that. Because left to government and all these private entrepreneurs, they want to make super profit. They rather have it the easy way. And we must not forget that Dangote was built from Nigerian resources. The Central Bank of Nigeria, under Godwin Emefiele, gave huge foreign exchange discount to Dangote, including funds, loans that were made available to him to world-class facility. So the 20 billion was on the private resources of Dangote alone. It was the Nigerian government helping him to succeed. I wrote an article when after the commissioning of that project, and if you go back and do a Google check of Godwin Emefiele's speech at the commissioning of Dangote, you will see the enormity of the federal government investment in establishment of Dangote. And don't forget that the Nigerian government also have about 20% equity in that company. So Nigerian government have a say, and that we should. Dangote should run his companies with human face. I'm not saying he should not make profit. He's in business to make profit. We are happy that he's the richest man in Africa, and that counts for something for Nigeria. That maybe we are not entirely big for nothing in its entirety. But the bottom line is that he must run. He must operate within the Nigerian labor laws. The labor laws are very clear. You cannot force somebody not to belong to a union. It's an option. If they decide not to belong, all well and good. If they decide to, for those who decide that they want to belong to a union, allow them. Unless that these 800 plus people have issues, maybe they are found to have been late to work, or they are found to have committed any other crimes, just to relieve, and only those who are agreed to join unions are now being relieved of their position on the guys that there is a restructuring. That is not fair, because now the other Nigerians in that company will be working in an atmosphere of fear that any attempt to also their welfare can be met with sack. And that is the beauty of having a union to run to. If there is no union, there will be nobody to speak out for you. How many editorial will a newspaper write? How many, even at times that workers have run to the National Industrial Court and got a favorable judgment, only to be discountenanced by those companies. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. The unions, because of they can picket, they can do a lot. Usually their activism do yield positive results. And we must not forget that today the new minimum wage that is being enjoyed by Nigerian workers was facilitated by the Nigerian labor unions. So it's a win-win situation that should be fostered between the two warring factions. And I'm happy that maybe about now they will be meeting with the Ministry of Labor office who has decided to mediate in the face of.
All right, Jide, before we go, let's look at the issue of INEC. I know that you are very conversant with electoral reforms, electoral goings on, and you've also monitored and observed elections across the world. INEC says claims of public distrust in the electoral process is misplaced, is false. What do you think about that?
Well, INEC, I know there's a lot of agitation about who succeed Professor Mahmoud Yakubu Rabi.
Exactly.
And that, in fact, there is an advertorial running on one of the TV stations that I saw yesterday now, talking about transparent appointment process. But while I embrace that call for transparent appointment process of INEC chairman and indeed the commission, the challenge with INEC is more deep-seated than than having just a leadership change. I granted an interview with one of the TV stations last week, and my own position is that we actually need an attitudinal change.
Okay.
A former INEC chairman, I don't know whether it's Chief Justice Ephraim Akpata or Dr. Ibe Gobadia, was alleged to have said that INEC is a burial ground of reputation. The issue in INEC is that there's a lot of pressure from the political class on the leadership. And any attempt to sway one way or the other, you are done for.
For life.
You know? So, and whether the appointment of INEC chairman and commissioner is done by an independent committee or is done by NJC or is joined by one coalition, the point is, who will pay INEC? Is it not the president? The funding is what is most important. Let me give you one quick instance. People demonize Professor Maurice Wu. Oh, he didn't do it. Did you know that in 2006, Professor Maurice Wu wanted to do new voter registration exercise? And he procured a 3,000 DDC machine, that's direct data capturing machine for registration. By September of 2006, ahead of 2007 election, when the registration exercise should have commenced, there was no cash backing from the Ministry of Finance and CBN. They needed 33,000. As at the date they announced they were going to start the voter registration, they only have about 100 DDC machines. So they have to now do roving registration. And what Iwu wanted to do at that time was to use one DDC machine to cover 4 polling units. But because there was no funding, he couldn't do that. In fact, that was the whole genesis of why there was very bad 2007 election. Because by the time the money was released and procurement was done into election, the registration was done around January, February. By the time they want to do cleanup, that was when you say Michael Jackson was found on the INEC voters register, Mike Tyson and all of that. Because people were cutting almanac and they were using it to register. But fast track that to when Jega came in 2010. By 2010, there was a constitutional alteration which now put INEC funding on first line charge on consolidated revenue fund. And Professor Jega decided to buy 130,000 DDC machines. As of that time, we have 119,973 polling units. So the redundancy, so that if one machine malfunctions, they can replace. So they needed a little over 120,000. And he got the money to buy it. And Jega did new registration of voter in 10 days, nationwide. One DDC machine, it is who pays the money that is more important. You can have the best men at the helm of affairs. You can have the best ideas, the plans. If there is no funding for it, you will be frustrated. And that's why we must not miss the point that while we are asking for transparency in the appointment procedure of INEC chairman, the challenge goes beyond that. Then there is also the wider issue of INEC depending on ad hoc staff to conduct elections. In the last general elections, INEC needed to recruit 1.4 million ad hoc staff. Do you get?
Yes.
Because the entire workforce of INEC today is about 16,500 or less than 17,000. So at every general election, it needed over 1 million people to assist it to conduct election. You don't know the background of these people. Many of them are academia. And we have seen how some of them soiled their hands, allowed themselves to be induced by politicians, and they cook up results. So how do you checkmate that attitudinal challenge that the people you are bringing on board to help you conduct election, who will be referred to as INEC officials, just for one day work, are transparent and accountable. Currently, as I speak with you, there's a professor in University of Uyo who is having a jail term for aiding and abetting the manipulation of election results in 2019. You remember?
I remember, yeah.
And the President Bola Tinubu, have to sack 3 of the resident electoral commissioners over their ignoble role in 2023 elections. That of Adamawa, that officer without any due process, he was sacked. The one for Abia was sacked. The one for Sokoto was sacked. It's still the same administration. So what I'm saying is that it goes beyond appointments. Yes, transparent appointment is good. But whichever way, the president's role in all of this cannot be underestimated, because you cannot, knowing the constitution does not allow any other person, as of today. No, in fact, that is why I even tell people who are advocating right now that it's a fait accompli. The constitution says president will appoint in consultation with the Council of State. And then it will send the name of the appointees to the Senate. So right now, we do not know who affected. And the tenure of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu will end sometimes in November or December this year. And I do not see this whole exercise of constitutional alteration ending soon. Even though in my column last week, I was pleading with them to make sure that it defined. But the way, as of today now, they have not even voted on the issues. And by the time the Senate votes, House of Reps votes, and then they tally the issues that get 2/3 majority, they still have to send to the State Assembly. And then the State Assembly is not under the control of National Assembly. They will take their own time to do the voting. And by the time the governors start sending in their budget for 2026, the issue of constitutional, the same way the National Assembly may be distracted by budget. So which is why I was expecting that by now we will have concluded every issues around constitutional and electoral reform. So the long and short of it is that the president will still appoint the way previous presidents have been appointed, because that is what the law says as of today.
All right, Jide, I think I agree with you on that, especially your concluding part, because although the elections are for 2017, but you and I know that 27, that's when we have the election. But you and I know that next year, 2026, is the real election year. So anything that is not done this year should be forgotten.
That is the issue. That is the truth. Anything that is not done before December 2025, by the time they are bringing the reform agenda, it might be true have to issue notice of election 1 year to the
yes, exactly.
Election. And that means by February 2026, INEC will blow the whistle. And you cannot start amending the laws once 6 months to the election, which is why Buhari refused to sign the 2018 Electoral Act amendment.
All right, thank you, Jido. And our time is fast spent. Thank you so much, Jido Joe, author, journalist, and social commentator. Thank you so much, my brother.
Happy 65th Independent Anniversary to you and your colleagues.
Yes, thank you.
Nigerians, let's work for the best of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Let change begins with each and every one of us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jidojo. So that's our package on Insight today. The program returns tomorrow with another edition. My name is Lawrence Omoite. Enjoy the rest of your day.